The most wonderful time of the year. Although, let's be honest, around the holidays, things really add up. But here's the good news. Only at Verizon, you can get a single line for $50 per month when you switch and bring your phone. So while ice skating for two is definitely costing more, here at Verizon, you can save. Gifts for your third cousins? Steep. A single line with Verizon? Not so steep. A real tree? Pricey. A single line with Verizon? Less pricey. Flights to see Mima and Pops? Those are up. A $50 per month single line? That's down. Even a trip to the Atlanta Holiday Market will cost you more. But with Verizon, you can switch and bring your phone for just $50 per month for a single line on unlimited welcome, with autopay plus taxes and fees. All this to say, during the holiday season, when everything is costing more, you can get more for less right now at a local Verizon store. $15 monthly promo credits applied over 36 months with a new line on unlimited welcome. In times of congestion, unlimited 5G, 4G LTE may be temporarily slower than other traffic. Domestic data roaming at 2G speeds. Additional terms apply.
Hello, it is Ryan, and we could all use an extra bright spot in our day, couldn't we? Just to make up for things like sitting in traffic, doing the dishes, counting your steps, you know, all the mundane stuff. That is why I'm such a big fan of Chumba Casino. Chumba Casino has all your favorite social casino-style games that you can play for free anytime, anywhere with daily bonuses. So sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com. That's ChumbaCasino.com.
Sponsored by Chumba Casino. No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 18 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
Welcome to Uncluttered and Unfiltered, the podcast urging you to let it go and don't look back. With nationally acclaimed professional organizer Christine Stone and self-proclaimed hot damn mess radio and TV personality Eden Kendall.
Welcome, everybody, to Uncluttered and Unfiltered with Eden and Christine. And we have an episode today that's a little bit different. It's a time of year when we have some downtime. We might want to do a little TV watching or movie watching. So we're going to talk about some things that we are enjoying watching, or maybe we watched and we didn't enjoy so much, and we can save you some time.
Yes. And being an empty nester, you need something to fill your time around during the holidays if you're not super, super busy, or you just want time to relax. Exactly. At the end of the crazy day, you just want to chill out and watch something that will make you feel good.
Or if you're like Christine and you've been watching Yellowstone, it's over, it ended, and now you're just devastated and need something to fill the void. So whatever your situation is, we're going to get to that very shortly, but you had a good little break between the last time you and I spoke?
Yes, I was in Miami for my in-laws' 65th wedding anniversary. 65 years.
Wow.
Yeah. So we all went down and they had a party. So
they had a run, huh? They're still going strong.
They're still going, still 65 years. So that's impressive in my opinion. So
it's very impressive. And we are inching ever closer to Christmas and Hanukkah and the holiday season. So I thought I would share with you before we get into our topic today, an article that I saw from the Chicago Sun. And this was a journalist that wrote this about her kids, and it's directed toward her parents, to all of the grandparents involved. Okay. So I know last week we talked a little bit about don't mourn the fact that you don't yet or may never have grandkids. Right. Today we're just going to talk about if you do have grandkids, here's what at least this one mom says: please don't buy them for Christmas.
Oh, I'm dying to hear this.
She gives you a list and she tells you why exactly for each one. The first thing in the list, anything alive. Oh, because you know what happens when things are alive, they die. So please do not gift my child anything that is alive or could potentially give us E. coli when we clean its cage.
But see, I think don't give them anything alive because then the parents end up taking care of it, 100%. Not the kids. I promise I'll walk the dog, I'll feed the dog, and then they never do, and you end up taking care of it.
If the parents want to bring a pet into the life, which I love because I always had pets, hamsters, all of that, but not the grandparents. Junk, stocking stuffer that is really just cheap pieces of junk. Do you know anyone who's also against those types of gifts?
Oh, I wonder. Let's see.
Any toy that hurts when I accidentally step on it with bare feet.
That would be Legos.
That's exactly.
Barbie doll accessories, those little pointy shoes. Yeah, I agree with that.
Mm-hmm. Any toy without an off button. And to go a step further, any toy with an off button that doesn't turn off immediately when you push it.
See, I have a grandson, so I 100% agree with that, because when me and my husband are there, we record things to have him listen to. And my husband thinks it's funny to just play it over and over again. I'm like, is there an off button on that? So yes, I agree with that.
And toys, and I don't necessarily agree with this one, toys that require me to play it with them. I think that it's nice to get down on your hands and knees and have interaction, but it is a gift you give your child if it is something they can go off and work on their own, to give the gift of free time to the parents.
Yeah, I like that too.
I thought those were interesting.
Very.
It's not something that I can act on right now, but I'll try to keep that in mind if I'm ever in a situation where I have a grandchild to buy something for. So we said we wanted to talk about some TV shows that we have been enjoying. Oh, one more thing very quickly. You all who are part of our Ladies Only Facebook group were asked by Christine to contribute things you need help with organizationally, and that is in a future episode.
Yes.
So this is not that episode, but it is coming.
It's coming, because January's Get Organized month, so get ready, ladies.
All right, so let's talk about some things that we have been watching, starting with, should we do some documentaries first? Because that's a whole category. You and I both love a good documentary.
I love a documentary. I love it. I love it so much.
The one that we watched most recently was Yacht Rock,
which I have not watched yet, and I'm dying to watch it.
It's delightful. It is all about the music that was... The phrase yacht rock was actually coined by these YouTubers who were doing a kind of a sketch comedy series. I didn't know this.
Mm-hmm.
And it is all of those songs from the 70s and 80s that are soft rock.
Kenny Loggins.
A lot of Kenny Loggins.
Yeah.
He was on this documentary. He was fantastic. There's just a lot on this documentary to digest. My husband and I both absolutely adored this documentary.
Have you been to the Yacht Rock review?
Yes.
Okay,
they are a band. They're in it.
Yeah.
They show them in it, but unfortunately for them, they don't ever say their name. You see some scenes. They show another Yacht Rock band, because there are Yacht Rock bands all over the place. It's just like Yacht Rock Review comes to town a lot. So this other Yacht Rock band called Yachtly Crew is who they
I haven't seen them. I just went to the Yacht Rock Review. It was unbelievable.
We've seen them a few times.
Oh, I've only seen them once, but
so that is just one iteration of these many bands that are out there that do all of these covers, and we love them, but they were in this documentary as well. So what about you? What are you loving?
I was telling you a few that you hadn't heard of yet. And that's the thing. I love watching documentaries that no one has really talked about, or you don't really know the person that well, so you're dying to know more about them. And the first one that I absolutely loved was the return of Tanya Tucker, featuring Brandi Carlile. And I have to tell you a little bit what this is about. Decades after Tanya Tucker slipped from the spotlight, music star Brandi Carlile takes it upon herself to write an entire album for her hero based on Tanya's extraordinary life, spurring the greatest comeback in country music history. When I tell you, this was such a surprise, unbelievably amazing documentary, not only because I love Tanya Tucker, Delta Dawn. What's that?
Flower
Okay. They go through her whole life, as well as what she's doing now, how she is now, all what Brandi Carlile has, the patience of a saint. That's all I'm going to say. But she created a Grammy-winning hit for her all these years later. It's just a much-watched show if you love those two people.
Okay.
Like I do.
All right. And there are some other documentaries on your radar, I think, too. What else have you seen?
I saw the one about Don McLean, and it's called The Day the Music Died, the story of Don McLean's making of American Pie. Oh my gosh, that was so good. It tells you verse by verse how he came up with each verse.
Wow.
What was going on in the world, what was going on in his life, his rise to fame. It is unbelievable. Another favorite.
I thought when I was a little girl, my sister had the Brady Bunch album, and they covered American Pie. It was a 2-minute version of American Pie. So for years, I thought that was a Brady Bunch song.
No, really?
Yeah, I mean, I was very little. I was very young. And later I found out that it was actually a really long song.
A lot of the DJs love that song because they could go to the bathroom, they could get other stuff done. And it just was one of my favorite songs of all time. And I love that people still debate about it now, what it was really about. And so when you watch this, you finally really know how he talked about the day the music died, what it meant. And a lot of it isn't what you think, which is why I thought it was fascinating.
That does sound fascinating.
Yeah.
I've been a DJ in just about every music format and did several years in classic rock. And the 3 songs that you need to use the bathroom are American Pie, Inagata Divida by Iron Butterfly, and Stairway to Heaven.
Oh, yeah, Stairway to Heaven for sure.
Those are the 3.
Yeah,
Those are
for
the
sure.
3. So music documentaries, both you and I love those.
I think part of what I love, and I think everyone that's listened for a couple years now, I love knowing a person's backstory. Mm-hmm. I don't like just jumping fast forward to what's going on today. I feel like everyone's backstory is the reason they are the way they are today. And so I love documentaries for that reason.
Have you seen the one? It's 2 parts, The Eagles.
No.
Okay, it's been a few years since that came out. Glenn Fry was still alive. It's a really good documentary. One of the best. It even has full nudity.
Wow.
I mean, it's just female frontal nudity. Because they used clips they had these clips for years. They had these videos that they've unearthed for years. It is such a great, spicy documentary.
Ooh.
Lots of dirt.
That's going to be next on my list. I love the Eagles. I also watch documentaries that I may not even really know much about them, like Charlie Trotter's. I used to live in Chicago years and years ago, and I knew about Charlie Trotter's, the restaurant, because it was so famous. People waited years to get a reservation. People would fly in from Europe just to go there. He was a very famous chef. So I'm like, okay, I'll watch it. Oh my gosh. It was amazing. You learn every little part of his childhood, what made him who he was.
Who was he, though?
He was a guy who just started out traveling through Europe, learning about cooking.
Okay, so chef.
Yeah, but learning about it, not really thinking he was going to do anything with it. And he really became really good at it and then started a restaurant. And then I can't remember because it was a while ago that I watched it, but it shows the rise and fall, though, because his restaurant was so successful and he was jealous when anyone left him or started their own restaurant and left him. And he couldn't let it go. Like it would get under his skin. And then they showed that he had some mental problems and it really got deep into it. Of course, the restaurant closed because of that and he died early, very young. And so I just like things that I may know a little bit about them, but not really a lot. Mm-hmm. So anyway, those are some of my most recent watches.
There's a show that I just finished with, oh gosh, why is it escaping me? Is it because I'm 58 years old and I lose all my nouns?
Yes.
Which is actually something that they talk about in this particular show. It's called Man on the Inside. It's Ted Danson.
I haven't seen that yet. I heard it's good.
It's fantastic.
Yeah.
Ted Danson plays a widower who is really looking for some purpose. So he answers an ad from a private detective who is looking for a senior citizen who is fairly good on contraptions and gadgets because there needs to be a little bit of surveillance going on. And this person's going to need to check into a retirement community. Oh my God. And it goes so much deeper than that because there has been some theft there. And it goes so much deeper than that because there's a whole piece of it that deals with memory care and some friendships and relationships. It's beautiful.
Oh my gosh.
Absolutely beautiful.
I can't wait to watch it.
It's delightful. I promise you'll love it. The other show I watched that was something I was not planning to watch, but I heard that it was much more substantial than it gave the appearance of being, and that was The Real Full Monty.
Oh, I didn't see that
This was a show on Fox, I want to say. And Anthony Anderson from Blackish, he put together this because I guess they had been doing it in Europe, where like in the movie The Real Full Monty, that means when you are doing a male striptease, you show everything, full frontal, that for a moment. And so the idea behind it was, who is willing to be this embarrassed and put themselves out there to draw attention to men's health? And wouldn't you go get a checkup and be a little bit embarrassed? If we can do this, you can do that.
Love that.
And each person involved, and there were some different celebrities involved, had some kind of relationship to cancer, including, and I don't know if you've seen this, and I don't think this is a spoiler at this point because he was on the cover of People magazine last week, James Vanderbeek.
Oh, yeah. I think everyone knows that.
So he has
colon cancer.
Colorectal cancer. And so he was one of the dancers. And it's just a really well done show. I don't know if you could keep your man watching it for long enough, but I liked watching it because we finally got to that point where I've convinced my husband it is important to go get a checkup.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
After all these many years, he finally did. And so it's just great.
It's important
to know that there's that kind of thing out there. So if you happen to see that, instead of brushing it off immediately, if you know somebody who maybe needs to hear about it, it's a good show.
Well, of course, we're total opposites.
Yes, we are.
So I couldn't do a show on what I'm watching without mentioning Yellowstone.
Not for me, but yes, I know you love it. Everyone does.
I am obsessed.
Everyone is.
Now, I will be honest, this last season, not so much loving it. I just finished the very last one, so I'm not going to spoil alert anything because it just aired last night. I just watched it at 6 a.m. this morning. I don't love the last season. I was really disappointed it ended. I thought there was so much more they could have done with it.
They're doing a spinoff though, right?
I heard that, but it won't be the same. Let's just say that. But I'm able to live with that because of my new favorite show, I think, since The Sopranos, Landman.
What?
Absolutely. It's another Taylor Sheridan show called Landman with Billy Bob Thornton.
Oh, yes.
And I feel like he is like the Tony Soprano character. Like, you're not supposed to love him, but you're so in love with him.
Landman.
Yeah. And it is fascinating because actually it's all older actors. It's Billy Bob Thornton, Demi Moore, John Hamm, Ali Larter. It's people who have made a comeback. And yeah, there are some younger characters in it as well, but I went to school in Fort Worth, so I am fascinated by anything Texas. And I used to love the show Dallas, and it has that same Dallas-y feel, but it is a must watch. So I think that helped the blow of Yellowstone ending because it's on right after. So I can live now and breathe now.
Good. The other one, though, that you watched and I didn't see is Lioness. Is that a series or is that a movie?
Another Taylor Sheridan favorite. No, it's a series.
He's the producer director, right? Is that his role?
He's the writer.
Okay, the showrunner.
He writes. In all of them, he makes an appearance, which a lot of people don't know, especially in season 5 of Yellowstone. He was in it a lot.
Oh.
So he shows up in everything he creates. It's really good with Nicole Kidman. It's a series, and Zoe Saldana. She's amazing too. It's really good. It reminds me of, what was that Claire Danes show, Homeland?
Yes.
It's like that. It's like Homeland. They're in the CIA, blah, blah, blah. And it's very good too. It's a great show. I guess I'm just a huge Taylor Sheridan fan.
A lot of people really are. The only experience I had is I did try more than once, including on my long flight to Australia, to get into Yellowstone, and I just couldn't. So everybody is different. I don't know why. I totally see the appeal. It's not for me. I'm right now loving the new Star Wars Skeleton Crew. So if you need to take a page out of why I don't have all of the same passions you do, it's because I like Marvel. I like Star Wars.
Never saw one. Never have seen Star Wars ever, let alone any. And my son-in-law is a Star Wars fanatic. So is my husband.
Well, ask him if he's watching Skeleton Crew.
Oh,
it's the best one.
I'm sure
done.
he is. I don't even need to ask. He's obsessed.
Okay,
I mean,
it is the best one they've done.
Yeah, I've seen a couple Batmans like back in the day, a long time ago, but that's about it.
So Jude Law is in this.
I do love him.
And I turned to my husband the other night while we were watching, and I said, I have to tell you something just in case you don't know. And he said, what? And I said, that is a beautiful man. Just because I feel like some men don't know a beautiful man when they see him. And Jude Law is a beautiful man.
I fell in love with him in The Talented Mr. Ripley.
Oh, okay.
I just thought he was...
Or The Holiday he was
Oh,
great.
yeah. He's just got charisma.
Yes. There's
I love
some
Jude
kind
Law.
of mischievous twinkle.
Yeah, I love him.
He has a mischievous twinkle always brewing in his eye. And then it's he and these 4 great kids as the stars. So if you are the kind of person who loves watching with your family, this is a great show. Skeleton Crew, Disney Plus. Let's see, what else are we watching?
Okay.
I wrote down that I wanted to tell you about my dream. And now I have to definitely tell you based on something you just said earlier, but I'm going to put that towards the end. So what else? Let's get to the later dater.
Oh,
this is the one that you say is better than the Golden Bachelor.
For me.
For you. Our quality of life matters. Menopause shouldn't take anything away from us. No 2 women experience it the same way.
And yet none of us are alone.
Hormone Harmony recognizes all of those symptoms we've talked about so much on this podcast, like feeling down and uncomfortable in your own body.
Hot flashes, sleepless nights.
Now it's easier to manage menopause with Hormone Harmony, science-backed herbal extracts called adaptogens. They help the body adapt to stressors like chaotic hormonal changes.
Women cannot stop talking about it on social media. A bottle of Hormone Harmony is sold every 24 seconds.
That
Wow.
really says something. The biggest benefit I'm hearing about is, quote, feeling like myself again. That is what women are mentioning over and over again in their reviews. For a limited time, you can get 15% off on your entire first order at happymammoth.com. Just use the code UUPodcast at checkout. That's happymammoth.com and use the code UUPodcast for 15% off today. Uncluttered and Unfiltered is supported by Hearts for Minds. Can you imagine waiting 11 years to get screened for cancer? On average, people with mental health issues experience an 11-year delay between symptoms and seeking help. And close to 2/3 of mental illnesses go untreated. Hearts for Minds promotes healthy lives by promoting mental health education, facilitating early identification, and connecting people to treatment. Are you ready to learn more? Go to heartsforminds.org. That's hearts, the number 4, minds.org for more information or to learn how you can help.
For me.
Okay, tell everyone the premise.
First of all, I was not going to watch it at all.
This is the later
anyway on Netflix. I definitely was like, I'm not doing this. And then one day I'm like, when you get on Netflix and they give you a little preview when you're scrolling through, and I said, okay, now I'm interested. So I started with episode 1. And I'll tell you why I like it better. First, all their families are there all the time because the kids are trying to help the parents date in this new world of technology and stuff. And they have a woman who helps them, who is a professional with dating. And she tells them what they're doing wrong, how they can improve it. She works with the ladies to let them, and the men both, what can create a better bond on a first date, a second date, whatever. I find it fascinating because they really actually seem like it's definitely not scripted. It seems more real. They let their hair down more. They act like themselves because in some of them, they don't not look physically. They're having a hard time dating
presenting
again.
Themselves.
Yeah, they're having a really hard time presenting themselves. And you also get to hear a lot more of their backstory, and it's not all about being a widow. Some people, like one woman, she is a widow, but she dated a famous rock guitarist back in the day, and it was her true love, and I found it more realistic, maybe, even though it probably isn't, but it just appeared that way. And the quote that I got from this that has stuck with me is, from that show is, I don't want to be a nurse or a purse.
I don't want to be a nurse
or a purse.
I love that quote.
I love it because I think a lot of women, when they date later, if they have money, they don't want to just be the sugar mama that you're like supporting someone. And if a lot of times women take care of men.
Did you see the documentary on the Villages?
No, but I have to see that.
So the Villages, for those who are not in Florida, I tend to think that it's probably, everyone knows about it, but if you don't, it is a retirement community that is, for us, it's just about 2 hours away, maybe 2.5. And they did a documentary, and there was this one bachelor, widower, whatever, that was playing that game where he was just looking for a sugar mama.
Oh, yeah. I believe that, though.
And so that is prevalent in that age category for sure, because the men really have the upper hand.
They do.
There are so few of them.
There are so few men compared to women. And a lot of the women are all widowed. And that goes back to even when you're older, when all women are fighting over the same men. Even when you're old, there's not a lot of men compared to women.
Right. And my dad, when my mom and dad moved into their retirement community, first of all, a couple of things happened. I have addressed this before. She did not make as many friends as she has now because the widows were just the married couples.
Right.
But also the friends she did have, my dad would say to me, yes, she's popular because I can drive at night.
Oh my God, that's so funny.
And in actuality, she was popular because she couldn't be any sweeter than she is. But anyway.
I've only watched 3 episodes, so I still have more to go. But I definitely think if you're looking for something, to me, this one also made me feel better about dating later in life because it's not I feel like The Golden Bachelor, I just felt like everyone almost felt sorry for ladies sometimes. You don't really feel sorry for these women. They're brave enough to get out there and do it again. And
is there a pool and they have to choose from within that pool of people? Or
no.
So it's not, see, that's the difference too. With The Golden Bachelor, what feels so thirsty to me is that it's one man to 24 women.
No, it's not like that at all.
That's not the real world. The real world is there's however many men and however many women, and it's like you're trying to find your match.
This professional is the one that gets them their match. Okay, so she's the one that kind of does a lot of the matching by what they tell her on both sides. So it's not at all really like The Golden Bachelor because you're not competing with a bunch of other women.
I saw one clip where the matchmaker is sitting with an older gentleman and she's saying, so-and-so, the woman that she's trying to sell him on, she lives in this county. And he said, I know, but she lives across the crosstown traffic. And she said, you're telling me you're looking for someone you want to spend the rest of your life with and you won't go across the traffic? And he said, that is exactly what I am telling you.
That's why I like it because, see, it's more realistic. Yeah. Like the woman who said, I don't want to be a nurse or a purse. She also, if you're not a Georgia Bulldog fan, she's not interested.
So much more realistic.
She's not interested. She wants someone who loves football, she's a huge Georgia Bulldog fan, and you have to have that same interest or she's not really interested. That's more realistic. If you are into that and your kids are into that, your grown adult kids, you want somebody who will go to those football games with you.
Think about this. What's more realistic? This one lives in Kansas. This one lives, where did Joan on The Golden Bachelor live? I can't remember. Maryland. And they're going to get it together. Of course, they're saying that they did. Or this one won't cross traffic to see someone. If it's more realistic to think that there is a 65, 70-year-old man out there that won't go across the county versus that there's one that will go across the entire country.
The one that was married to the guitar player, the famous guitar player, she went on a date where they showed her always just talking about herself and not asking him anything about him. And he finally said, you've not asked me one thing about me. I'm done. I'm leaving.
Wow.
Do you know what I mean?
That's
like
what
you get reality.
When you're older, you do that.
Yeah. You're not interested in me. You're interested in talking about yourself. So the woman told her, I told you not to do that. I told you have to act interested. So I really did think it was funny. I really did.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Hey, everybody, let's all watch it.
Yeah.
I'm going to go because you can binge this, right? It's all
it's on Netflix. Yeah. And to me, this is one of those shows you don't have to sit there and binge watch the whole whatever, how many episodes there are. If you just want something to make you laugh, watch one here, one there, one. You know what I mean? It's not, I have to binge watch. So anyway, that's another one I've been watching.
Is there anything else we want to make sure we talk about? Because I want to show you that I wrote this down before anything else. I want to show you you what I wrote. Eden's dream about Chris.
I have to hear
Okay,
Eden's
but
dream
I want to
about
make sure
me.
we're done.
Yeah, I watch so much stuff. I could go on and on,
Sure.
but I think I've hit my main things that I love right now.
Okay, main points made?
Main
All right.
points.
So I had written down to tell you about my dream. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I am omniscient, that I can foresee the future. Probably it's more likely that just things that happen in my life trigger me remembering a dream versus I'm dreaming about it and then it happens. But it does happen quite a bit. I have a friend who says that's just like an intuitive thing. I don't know. But my dream that I had about you that I wrote down a week and a half ago that I wanted to share with you.
I'm nervous.
Don't be nervous. We were doing something where we were spending, I think we went somewhere, both you and Mitch and Steve and me. And then it was time for us to leave. We were going to travel back home or what have you. And our flight got canceled or something. So we got stuck in town. So we invited ourselves along with you to a restaurant. And you really, what could you say? We're like, we're still in town. So where are you? We're going to join you for dinner. And then over dinner, we realized this restaurant, you needed to wait months to years to get a reservation, which you just brought up when you were talking about that restaurant in Chicago.
Isn't that weird?
Isn't that so weird?
Yeah.
So then I realized we have crashed this very special romantic date that the two of you have been planning for months because you had to get on a waiting list. And now they're not even sure they're going to give you a table because now there are 4 of us. And you're just looking at us trying to be polite, thinking, what are we going to do with these guys? They have crashed our romantic date.
Oh my, that is so weird that I then just mentioned Charlie Trotters, which seriously, you have to wait back then you had to wait like a year to get in. Well, that is weird.
That is just a strange.
That's very intuitive.
It's strange. Or some would call it a coincidence.
Yes.
So there is that. Anyway, as I mentioned, over on our ladies only page, we are asking you if you have a organizational issue, something Christine, for those of you who found us on this episode and you only meeting us, she is a professional organizer, definitely wants to in the new year as we kick it off, address some things that are troubling you. So we are going to do a few episodes dealing with all of these things. So head on over there, join us, and you will, at the end of this episode, find out exactly how you can do that. But in the meantime, there was another show that has gone off the air called Somebody Somewhere that I'm going to watch. So if you are like the people who are now mourning that show is over, or if you are like Christine and you are mourning that Yellowstone is over, we've given you some new options so that you can let it go.
And don't look back.
Thank you so much for joining us for this episode. And before we wrap up, here are a couple of ways you can support us and stay connected. First, we invite you to join our free Facebook group called Uncluttered and Unfiltered Ladies Only. It's a great space to connect with like-minded women and share your thoughts. Second, be sure to subscribe or follow us wherever you listen. This way you'll be reminded whenever a new episode is released. We'd also appreciate it if you could leave us a review. And if you love what we do, consider giving us 5 stars. We don't know why that helps, but we're told it does. Check out our Patreon page where you can access episodes a day early, watch them on video, and enjoy them without commercials. We'll leave links to some of these things in our show notes. Thank you for your support. Women over 50, we see you and we love you.
The most wonderful time of the year. Although, let's be honest, around the holidays, things really add up. But here's the good news. Only at Verizon, you can get a single line for $50 per month when you switch and bring your phone. So, while ice skating for 2 is definitely costing more, here at Verizon, you can save. Gifts for your third cousins? Steep. A single line with Verizon? Not so steep. A real tree? Pricey. A single line with Verizon? Less pricey. Flights to see Mima and Pops? Those are up. A $50 per month single line? That's down. Even a trip to the Atlanta holiday market will cost you more. But with Verizon, you can switch and bring your phone for just $50 per month for a single line on unlimited welcome, with autopay plus taxes and fees. All this to say, during the holiday season, when everything is costing more, you can get more for less right now at a local Verizon store. $15 monthly promo credits applied over 36 months with a new line on unlimited welcome. In times of congestion, unlimited 5G, 4G LTE may be temporarily slower than other traffic. Domestic data roaming at 2G speeds. Additional terms apply. The most wonderful time of the year. Although, let's be honest, around the holidays, things really add up. But here's the good news. Only at Verizon, you can get a single line for $50 per month when you switch and bring your phone. So, while ice skating for 2 is definitely costing more, Here at Verizon, you can save. Gifts for your third cousins? Steep. A single line with Verizon? Not so steep. A real tree? Pricey. A single line with Verizon? Less pricey. Flights to see Mima and Pops? Those are up. A $50 per month single line? That's down. Even a trip to the Atlanta Holiday Market will cost you more. But with Verizon, you can switch and bring your phone for just $50 per month for a single line on unlimited welcome, with autopay plus taxes and fees. All this to say, during the holiday season, when everything is costing more, you can get more for less right now at a local Verizon store. $15 monthly promo credits applied over 36 months with a new line on unlimited welcome. In times of congestion, unlimited 5G, 4G LTE may be temporarily slower than other traffic. Domestic data roaming at 2G speeds. Additional terms apply.